He was 18 years old. He got on a boat with his friends on the 4th of July. He never came home. And when the questions started pouring in, every single person who was on that boat went completely silent. Not one of them. Not two of them. Now ask yourself something before we go any further. When a friend falls overboard by accident, why do you need a lawyer? You want to say it was a tragedy. Tragedies happen on the water. But tragedies don't require attorneys on the same day the body is found. Tragedies don't explain hours of digital silence on the phone of a teenager who never put that phone down. And tragedies don't explain why a phone that was supposedly sitting in a truck took 15 full minutes to hand over to a grieving mother standing right at the front door. Something is buried in this story. And tonight, on Darkness of Beneath Crimes, we are going deeper into this case than anyone else has gone. We are not here to guess. We are not here to scream. We are here to look at every documented detail, every timestamp, every phone record, every gap in the timeline, and ask the question that has not been answered yet. What actually happened to Nolan Xavier Wells on Horn Island? If you are new here, welcome. Subscribe to Darkness of Beneath Crimes right now before we go any further. Hit that like button, because this channel exists for exactly these moments. The cases where the official story doesn't sit still. The cases where every answer just opens 3 more questions. This is one of those cases. And you need to be here for every update. Let's go. Nolan Xavier Wells was not just a name on a missing persons report. He was a wide receiver, a college football player, a young man who had just graduated from Ocean Springs High School in Mississippi and earned his place on the roster at Southwest Mississippi Community College. His coach called him the kind of player every program prays for. His mother, Christine Wansley, said he had a gift for making people feel seen. He was a son, a teammate, a leader, a kid with a future that had barely started. And on the morning of July 4, 2026, he climbed onto a boat. The vessel departed at 9:56 in the morning. It arrived at the western tip of Horn Island at 11:14 a.m. Horn Island, a remote barrier island. No bridges, no roads, no way off except by water. 10 miles of open gulf between that island and the Mississippi shore. They partied. They celebrated. The 4th of July under the sun with no one watching. And then at some point, they left. Without Nolan. The friends told deputies that Nolan chose to stay. That he was with an unknown female when they departed. That it was his own decision to remain on that island, 10 miles from shore, as the sun went down on Independence Day. Now stop. Just stop right there and think about that for 1 second. You are on a remote island with your friend group. One of your friends decides to stay behind alone. No vehicle, no bridge, no way home except a boat. The sun is going down. Do you leave? Do you get in the boat, drive 10 miles across open water, and go home? Without even confirming he had another ride? Without one single person staying back with him? Because that is what the story asks you to believe. And then here is the part that makes that story even harder to swallow. Christine Wansley reported her son missing that same night. The Coast Guard launched a search. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources deployed boats and drone equipment. The Gulf Islands National Seashore joined the effort. Multiple agencies. Multiple days of searching. On July 5th, drones swept the western end of Horn Island in the afternoon. The batteries swelled in the excessive heat. The flights were cut short. They found nothing. On July 6th, at 8:45 in the morning, a body was found in the water near the west end of the island. Dental records confirmed it. DNA confirmed it. Nolan Xavier Wells. 2 days. That is all it took. And before the confirmation even came back, every person who had been on that boat had already retained legal counsel. Not after. Before. That is not a coincidence. That is a decision. Now before we go any further into this, I need you to understand something about how we operate on darkness of beneath crimes. We do not call anyone guilty without documentation. We do not exaggerate what the evidence says. We do not make claims we cannot back up. What we do is look at the documented details. We look at the timeline. We look at the gaps. And we ask the questions out loud that the official process has not yet answered publicly. Because Nolan Wells was a real person. His mother is a real grieving woman. And they deserve better than internet noise. They deserve the documented truth. So let's follow it. Now let's talk about the phone. Because this is where the timeline starts to fracture in ways that are very hard to explain away. Nolan went into the water without his phone. That makes complete sense. People swim. People boat. You leave your phone somewhere safe on the vessel. That part is not suspicious. Here is the part that is suspicious. After Nolan went missing, his phone remained in the possession of his friends. Not for a few minutes. For hours. And during that window, multiple sources raised claims that the phone showed no outgoing snaps. No images. No emails. No activity of the kind you would see on any 18-year-old's device during any normal period of time. Hours of silence on the phone of a teenager who lived on that device. Now his friends said in interviews that they had no access to his passcode. They said nothing was deleted. They said they held the phone and the keys and turned them over when Christine came to collect them. Two competing positions. Two very different implications. But here is the detail that I want you to hold on to tightly. When Christine Wansley tracked the phone using location data, and she used two separate location platforms that showed two different locations, which is itself a question worth asking. She went to where the phone was pinging. She arrived at a house. Lights off. Group of people. Sitting there watching television. She asked for the phone. It took 15 minutes. 15 minutes. To retrieve a phone that was reportedly just sitting in a truck parked outside. Now I will not tell you what those 15 minutes mean. There are innocent explanations. Maybe someone was looking for it. Maybe they were nervous. Maybe it took a moment to locate. But in a missing persons case where every minute of the timeline matters, 15 minutes is not a minor detail. 15 minutes is a question that needs an answer. And then, right after the phone was finally handed over, there is a report that someone said a girl would be coming to get it. Which girl? Why would anyone be coming to collect the phone of a missing young man? Whose decision was that? And what? Now here is where this case goes from painful to something that set the internet completely on fire. One of the friends who was on that boat on July 4th is named Warren Hudson. Warren Hudson gave interviews. He pushed back on what people were saying online. He maintained that nothing criminal happened on that island. But here is the detail that changed everything. Warren Hudson's stepmother is a sitting judge in Jackson County, Mississippi. Judge Ashley Cole. Jackson County Chancery Court. A sitting judge. In the same county where this investigation is being conducted. Now I am not telling you what that means. I am asking you to think about what it means for the process. When someone with a direct personal connection to one of the last people to see a young man alive holds a judicial seat in the county running that investigation, the question of independence is not paranoia. It is a legitimate institutional concern. And that concern only grew louder when questions emerged publicly about the handling of Nolan's phone, about who had access to it, about the chain of custody, about what should have been documented and when. Those questions spread across social media like a fire that nobody could stop. Now this is where I need you to drop a comment right now, before we go any further. Tell me, which detail in this case disturbs you the most so far? Is it the 15 minutes? Is it the lawyers? Is it the location data discrepancy? Or is it something else that you caught that you want to put on the table? Drop it in the comments. Because this community, the darkness of Beneath Crimes community, is full of people who catch things that investigators miss. And I read every single comment. Your observation might be the one that matters. Subscribe if you have not already. We are just getting started. Now let's talk about the tow. Because the boat in this case is not just a boat. It is a piece of evidence. And what happened to it after July 4th generated some of the most intense scrutiny of this entire investigation. Images circulated online showing the Triton boat being towed. And a question emerged immediately. If the boat was already being towed, why was a separate call made requesting additional towing assistance? Now there are explanations for two separate tow events. Different stages. Different vessels. Technical complications on open water. But here is what makes this specific question matter. The emergency call, the towing assistance call, was the subject of a demonstration video posted publicly. And when people examined that demonstration closely, something specific was flagged. During the demonstration, the person on the call is asked for coordinates. The response is, "Let me go look." But here is the problem. If the person making that call was already stationary and already in contact with rescue operators, where exactly were they going to look? You are on a boat. You are calling for help. And you need to go look for coordinates you should already have in front of you? That is a very small detail. Easy to miss if you are watching fast. But small details are exactly how timelines collapse. The autopsy. Jackson County Coroner Bruce Lind confirmed that an examination was conducted. That confirmation was reported publicly. But the full results were not immediately released. A young man is dead. His family has retained one of the most prominent civil rights attorneys in the United States, Ben Crump, who publicly stated they would not rest until every fact about what happened on Horn Island was brought into the light. A family should not have to hire a nationally recognized attorney and issue public statements to receive transparency from the investigation into their own child's death. When a family reaches that point, it means something in the process has already broken down. The question is where? And the question is why? Now some reports indicated that there was a presence of water in Nolan's lungs. That a toxicology report returned results. These reports were not officially confirmed by investigators in the immediate aftermath. But here is what the absence of official confirmation actually tells you. It tells you the family is not getting answers on a timeline that matches the urgency of their grief. And that gap, between what a family needs and what a process provides, is where distrust grows. Every day without a clear answer is another day that grief turns into suspicion. And suspicion turns into outrage. And outrage turns into a national conversation about whether powerful connections can protect people from accountability. Now let me put everything on the table at once. Because this is where I want you to feel the full weight of what we are looking at. July 4th, 9:56 a.m. Nolan boards the boat. 11:14 a.m. They arrive at Horn Island. 3 p.m. Nolan is last seen alive. Friends depart. Without him, Nolan's phone stays with his friends for hours, during which time there are claims of unusual digital silence on the device. Christine tracks the phone using 2 location platforms that show 2 different locations. She goes to the house. Lights off. People watching television. She asks for the phone. 15 minutes pass before it appears. Someone mentions a girl is coming to get the phone. Every friend on that boat retains legal counsel. The stepmother of one of those friends holds a judicial seat in Jackson County. Questions emerge about the boat, the tow, the emergency call, the demonstration video with the coordinate response that does not match the situation. The official autopsy results are not publicly released. The family publicly calls for transparency. Ben Crump enters the case. Al Sharpton speaks at the funeral. And Nolan Xavier Wells, who was supposed to turn 19 the following month, is buried at 18 years old. Tell me that timeline sits still. Tell me that every single one of those details has a clean, innocent explanation that lines up perfectly without a single gap. Because I am looking at it right now and I cannot get it to sit still no matter which direction I approach it from. One unexplained detail might be nothing. Two might be coincidence. But when you have a phone with hours of silence, a 15-minute delay, lawyers the same day the body is confirmed, a judge with a personal connection to one of the last people with Nolan, a demonstration video with the response that doesn't match the scenario, location data from two platforms telling two different stories. That is not coincidence. That is a pattern. And patterns demand investigation, not accusations, not verdicts, not internet outrage, documentation, evidence, a forensic phone examination, full autopsy results made available to the family, call records, boat records, location data pulled from every device that was on that island. That is what accountability looks like. That is what Nolan Wells deserves. Now, before I close, I want to ask you directly, which single piece of evidence in this case do you believe is the most important to examine next? Is it the phone forensics? The boat records? The emergency call timeline? The location data discrepancy between the two platforms? The autopsy results? Or is it something smaller, some detail we touched on tonight, that you caught and you think everyone else missed? Because I need your eyes in this comment section. The darkness of Beneath Crimes community has caught things before that changed how we looked at a case entirely. And this case is far from closed. Drop your theory. Drop your observation. Drop the one detail that is eating at you. And if someone else in the comments says something you agree with, reply to them. Debate it. Push back. Ask the follow-up question. That is how real investigation works. This comment section is where the conversation continues. Nolan Xavier Wells was supposed to turn 19 years old in August. He was supposed to be on a football field this fall. He was supposed to have decades of life ahead of him. He was 18 years old. He went out on the 4th of July with his friends. And he never came home. His mother stood before a packed church and said she thanked God for the 18 years she had with him. 18 years is not enough. And this case is not over. We will keep digging. We will keep documenting. We will keep asking every question that does not have a clean answer yet. And when new evidence surfaces, we will be the first channel to bring it to you fully and responsibly. That is the commitment of darkness of Beneath Crimes. If you are not yet subscribed, do it right now. Hit subscribe. Hit the like button on this video. It takes 2 seconds and it tells YouTube to push this investigation to more people who need to see it. Share this video with someone who has been following the Nolan Wells case. Because the more eyes examining this timeline, the better. Nolan Wells was real. His family is still waiting. And the truth is still out there. We will find it.